The poster board for the Aquarian age is Nikola Tesla. When we think of Nikola Tesla, a lot of times we think of Thomas Edison as well. Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla were very much in a space race. They were on the race to cultivating, harnessing light. But Edison and Tesla had two different ideas on how this light or this energy should be given. Edison was very much a part of the hierarchical view of how we are to distribute energy. Energy is packaged. You have to order energy. Energy is not something you freely given. Energy is accessed by those who can afford it. And the more money you have, the more energy you can afford. Tesla was a little bit different. He was on the hunt for breaking every boundary in the mind. Edison, he was very much about cultivating and harnessing light, pure energy, but he was also very concerned about the practical aspect of ideas, which is ideas being profit. Tesla, he was a voyager. He was a pioneer. Profit would never be enough for him because he always saw his idea as a beginning idea. Even if it's an idea that he's been working with and has been working with successfully for, could be decades, an idea is always the beginning. So with that mind, he went very deep into his imagination, into his visualizations, into his innovation, into his creativity. And he was quite peculiar, maybe queer, and a little bit abnormal, atypical, not somebody that fits smoothly into the patriarchal society. But he had the mind of a futurist. Edison had the mind of a inventor. But you can be an inventor and still be very much a part of the future. But Tesla was in the future, and that's the difference. Edison was a part of the future, meaning his ideas would lead into the future. But Tesla, he was already there. He was already walking around, already as though it's here now, or the time that he was alive. So, the Aquarian age is about freeing up energy. What does that mean, free up energy? We all know energy is money. We've been told this in various books. But our energy has not always been freed up. It's just now we're just scratching the surface of energy now being freed up. And when energy is freed up, there's more options. Now, when we think about our old system of energy, it was very much knowledge on how to access energy, which is how to access the generating, organizing, and delivering force, which is God. Generating, organizing, and delivering force. The knowledge on how to access that was hidden. It was discriminated. it was blocked, it was withheld. And it was like this for many, many, many centuries, leading into thousands of years. Now, what that means is that energy, or the idea, the perspective of energy is very limited. It's very rigid, it's very tight. And when it's rigid, when it's tight, what is it? It gets accumulative, it gets stagnant, and is not circulating. Or it's circulating, but it's circulating through one method. But as we know, life, energy, in its most expanded form is very spherical, and not just in a vertical or horizontal. It is creating all kinds of angles, all kinds of rotations. And we're beginning to understand this right now. We're beginning to understand that there are many ways to cultivate, to harness, and circulate money or energy. Innovation is very broad, it's very deep. And innovation can be energetic in many ways. And when we think of energetic, we think of richness, we think of wealth. So when we see somebody who is energetic, we're seeing them very rich with life, very wealthy with opportunities and options. Because a slow, sluggish, swampy, and drained person does not have many opportunities, does not have many options. They're very bound to their rigid, tight, and usually stagnant or accumulative, or their method of circulating what they got going on. But the Aquarian age is about, or freeing up energy. And a lot of us millennials, that millennial mind, either you're 20 or either you're 40, that millennial mind is on the hunt for energy. Because millennial understands to be energetic is richness and wealth of the world. Now, we never had that understanding before, because we were so bound to this patriarchal mindset on money, this very work-slave society, money, okay? We think of this work-slave society, we're thinking money is hidden, money is withheld, money is discriminated, money is blocked. And we've had that relay for so long. And when money or just energy is so tight like that, it's so rigid, the barriers in this hierarchical view is so thick, energy cannot move. And that's what happened. When energy does not move, what happens? We've seen it so many times. There is agitation. Either it's an agitated group of people who are fed up with discrimination, or fed up with energy being withheld, fed up with energy being hidden, fed up with energy being blocked. It creates agitation. And we've seen this so many times in various regions all around this planet. And that agitation is from when money isn't moving. It's cumulative, it's stagnant, or it's not circulating properly. It's circulating just through one method of circulation. And that does not free up energy, but keeps energy locked in. Energy is never meant to be locked in. Energy is an explorer. It is a pioneer, like the mind of Nikola Tesla. That's why he's the poster boy for the Aquarian age, and will be even moving forward into, say, the future of by the time I'm 40 or even 60. He will very much be that poster board. When we think of the Aquarian age, we think of Nikola Tesla. But an idea was always a beginning. Even an idea that's 2 decades old, an idea that has reached a completion, meaning it's has all its nooks and crannies, its ducks in a row. An idea is always a beginning phase, because it's a voyage. That's what a pioneer is. It's a voyage. It's never satisfied. It's always on a voyage, because it's never ending. The many ways that we can generate, organize, and deliver energy on this planet Earth. And that was Tesla. When he talked about freeing up energy, he was exploring multitude of ways that we could free up energy. Multitude of ways that light can be cultivated and harnessed and distribute, channeled. And that's what the Aquarian age is about. And that's a lot of millennials are beginning to discover. That when energy is freed up, meaning it's getting untangled from its hidden, discriminated, withheld, blocked place, energy, creativity, which is the same thing, innovation, it can be rich, can be very wealthy. We never really had this before. We never thought of options or possibilities for creativity or innovation to be rich or wealthy. But the thing is, this richness, this wealth, is energetic. And the Aquarian age is all about the energetic person. The energetic person is the Aquarian breed. So right now, we're seeing a lot of us just don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. We're all of a sudden this is getting freed up. This energy is getting freed up, and we just don't know what to do. Because we're still in that old patriarchal mindset of agitation. I'm agitated. And either it's expressed as anger or injustice or dissatisfaction when it comes to energy and not having enough energy, not having enough movement with energy being stagnant. I'm beginning to realize that energy is being freed up. We just need to know how to, or retrain ourselves. Not need to know, because we already know. We're just now getting reacquainted to what we've already sensed just being alive. So we're relearning, how do we generate energy? Okay. How do we organize that energy? How do we deliver that energy? And all of that comes through the channel of an energetic person. Because an energetic person in the Aquarian age has the velocity, the momentum, and the push. We talk about you using your navel, and you're pushing the energy into embodiment, into the ground. You're pushing it by your will. That your energy, your chi, where your chi center is, where all your chi is very much generated is at your navel point, and that's associated with your ability to push, to ground. It's like that apana force, to ground it, to embody it. But only the energetic person actually has that velocity and momentum to actually push it into the earth, push it into embodiment. Because a lot of us are just, we're floating around. Most of us are not even really here. We're here in our daily lives, our routines, but we're spacey. We're so spacey. We're so up and just literally up in the air. When you say a person who's up in the air, they're up in the air. We are spacey. And that apana life force is about moving ourselves deeper into the earth. As Nikola Tesla, when we get deeper into that earth, we have more of a command over the earth. When we're just spacey and I don't know what we're doing kind of thing in la dreamland, we don't have the command over the actual planet or the actual electromagnetic current of this planet to actually cultivate, harness, conduct, channel. So when we think of this free energy, we don't think of it as just being spacey in our la fantasy, living in our mental intrigues on how to earn money, how to make money, how to distribute or circulate. It is the impact we have, the presence that we have over this planet. And what is that? When we look at really, what is that presence, that impact, that command? It's our radiance. It's our radiant body. Now, a lot of people are, and this may not really be expressed for a long time because it's relatively new, but that radiant body is the energetic person. It's what we call our own reserve of clean energy. And that's the game for the Aquarian age, is clean energy. Clean energy. Not dead energy, such as oil and coal and such things. No, it's talking about clean energy. Not decomposed energy. Clean is implying lively. It is implying vital. It is implying renewable. And that is going to be the new, we talk about space race for the Aquarian age when it comes to our energy reserve. We talk about our coal, we talk about our oil as like our main replenishment. But that's decomposed dead things, basically. And that only has so much life to give. It's like asking a drained person, a very heavily drained, we all know this person. We all can name them out right in the top of our head. Asking a drained person to complete a task that will take them the lifetime to complete. It's like, yeah, they may be able to get you going or get going with that task, but it's not going to be as vital or as clean or clear as it could be if we're using a source of energy that is prolific. So when we think of a source of energy that is prolific, that it is constantly moving, it's constantly revolving itself. It's constantly reshaping, repositioning itself. And that is freed up energy. Freed up energy is energy that's always repositioning, revolving, refashioning, remodeling. That's freed up energy. So when we think about creativity and innovation, That's the infinite. And we can ground and embody that one of infinite idea we have and bring it into a generating, organizing, and delivering practical experience. And that's what we're here. We're not here to be spacey and spend our whole life up in some space of la la land where we have no connection to, no contact to the ground. That is not our life experience. But a lot of people, they're in that. They have a routine, they have a practical life, but their whole life is spacey, where they didn't actually ground anything into embodiment, anything energetic. And when we don't ground anything and sustain and stabilize anything energetic in our actual like Apana life force, our Apana ground experience, well then we can't really manifest ourselves. And that's what a lot of millennial mindsets are thinking. How can I manifest myself? How do I manifest myself? And that's going to continue to be the question for the Aquarian age. How do I manifest myself? Manifest is a command. It is your Apana command, your Apana impact it has with the ground. It is the radiance of your energetic person in contact with the ground and the energetics of the ground that gives off the most resonance. We could say the strongest resonance, not the most, the strongest resonance of yourself. And that resonance is the Aquarian age. That's what draws us in. That's what attracts us in. It is the resonance of ourself. Because when we have this freed up energy, people are looking in at other people, and we're all looking for an adjustment or some sort of calibration within our own being. We're looking for that in other people that can get us our own communication and contact with that generating, organizing, and delivering force. Now, a lot of people were literally just imposing. So all of that imposing, like I'm forcing, I'm just gonna, like that's very much a part of that old patriarchal system about I'm just gonna force myself into this and force people to like me and force my business and upon it's very much like what we know in the Roman times, the Pharaoh times, the king, queen times. I'm going to force my idea onto you all. I'm going to make you swallow everything that I'm feeding you. But the Aquarian age, people are not going to be interested in that anymore. Because usually that doesn't have the authenticity of what it means to be a creative and inventive person. And Aquarius is about, we're getting pretty transparent now about what is actually clean energy and what is actually just another false idea on how to make what energy is. It's just getting somebody some quick buck. We're not into quick fixes or into quick bucks. That may continue to play out because a lot of people really, they don't have the energy to actually channel what we call clean ideas or clean creativity or clean innovation. They don't have it. They can't hold it. They can't hold that. So when we can't hold that amount of energy or that amount of visionary, we can't hold, like Nikola Tesla, that mind of being able to hold such high amount of vision. To be visionary is to be able to hold a lot of energy. So a lot of us are, we're visionary, we're visioning things, but we're spacey. Visionary is a person who has it in their nervous system, in the apana body. Now, a lot of us, we're all up, yes, I have these ideas, these channels of the future of this earth and science and math or art, but it's not held within us, meaning it's spacey. It comes in and it floats away because it's not in our nervous system, because our nervous system would shut down. It would break down. It can't handle it. All that energy Nikola Tesla was cultivating, if any one of us were to just receive all of that energy, our nervous system would probably collapse. We'd probably have what we call a nervous breakdown. So a lot of people are having a nervous breakdown because they just can't, their nervous system can't handle it. They can't handle so much energy. But visionary is a person who can hold so much energy, and we're having what we call this false visionary. That is, yes, this is the idea that will bring clean energy. And clean energy is not just when we talk about big, macro on, we talk about like solar panel or wind energy, these kinds of things that are more about helping to facilitate a global energy reamp. We talk about reamping our whole usage and replenishment of what we think of is energy. But as we continue to work with energy that's freed up, we'll continue to work on what it means to generate, what it means to organize, what it means to deliver, what freed up energy means, and how we can basically creatively, inventively establish whatever we want on this planet Earth. And a lot of us don't think that I can actually establish whatever I want on this earth. That's freed up energy. And we didn't have that for so long. We couldn't just establish whatever we wanted because some, sort of king would come by and just kill us or burn our whatever we're doing and just burn our field to the ground because it was blocked, and it was directly blocked from, we say, this hierarchical, higher position of people that were basically in charge of how energy will be circulated. But now we're seeing energy is being circulated in so many different ways, and it's very astounding to us. We're seeing these establishments that are very rich with energy, very prolific with energy, that could never be established even 30 years ago. But they're now really taking root. I'm talking about apana roots, not some spacey, but it has no command over the actual earth. It's just some spacey thing. No, we're talking actual establishments, like establishing a tree, and it's rooting itself, it's grounding itself, it's making itself here, manifesting itself. We're actually seeing that, so that's really encouraging and inspiring us to really work with this free up energy and learn how we can manifest that energy, how we can manifest what we want in this earth, either some sort of expression or talent or gift or establishment or business or idea or collaboration. And that's what Aquarius is about: collaboration, communities, the word tribe. When we think of tribe, we think of energy is during those times, those tribal times, energy was very much an even. It was very spherical, meaning it wasn't heavy at the top. When we think of the hierarchical, heavy at the top, or wasn't heavy at the bottom. And there definitely wasn't these barriers, discriminations, these blocks, that something was withheld, that something was hidden. Everything was on the table. Everything was on the table. You grabbed what you want, you made what you want, and you exchanged it. Okay? You exchanged it basically evenly. And during this time, we talk about for these tribal communities, very prolific time. Very, very creatively prolific time. Because when everything's on the table, it's like you can pull these kind of tools together and make something quite interesting, because you have the access to different energetic formulas or different energetic equations that you can draw in and use your own sort of creative eye to see kind of like what works together. And that's why the Aquarian age is very much getting back to that collaboration, getting back to that teamship, because we have been so much agitated. We've been deeply agitated by the lack of community that we've had on this planet. Where community, basically you go to some church, the dude's preaching at you about how you be punished because we're all sinners, we all deserve to hate ourselves and hate each other, and then go home. And community wasn't really a discussion. It was basically looking at some preacher preach about our sins and that we can't save ourselves, and our life is based on the sins. It's just like we all have bad fortune because of it. And that never created discussion. Preaching never created discussion for us. And that's been community. Community has been religion for basically this whole Piscean age. It has been focused on religion. But religion has been so isolating. It isolated us from each other because it placed this idea that sin, punishment, there's somebody sinning. Let me give everybody the eye. Who's sinning in this room? And that didn't really give us, we were all like kind of paranoid of each other. We're all expecting the worst, that there's a sinner somewhere in here. I need to find them. We were focused on that rather than looking at each other as resources. We never looked at each other as resources. And that is what caused this great agitation dilemma when it comes to actually manifesting ourselves in lives, because we didn't really have the tribe. We didn't have the teamship to actually kind of put ourselves together, because putting ourselves together very energetically, it takes knowledge, it takes perspective that a lot of times we can't just get from just being the frog in the well, just in our own little land. We have to get it from the world, The world is expansion of perspective. And that's why we're getting so expanded. And that's why we're also our nervous system, we're having nervous breakdowns because we don't know how to handle it. We can't take it. We can't take it right now. So we're breaking down from all our social media scrolling. But that is what is helping us. The Aquarian age is helping us to manifest ourselves. It's giving us the world. It's giving us resources that can help us to get out of the well like the frog and begin to realize each other. Teamship collaboration is our wealth, is our richness. But what we talk about, this little hesitation, like I said, coming from this whole preacher, you're a sinner, everyone's going to hell, and we're all staring at each other, looking at each other paranoid and kind of wacko, and looking through our neighbor's window, trying to see if our neighbor's doing something that's a sin, kind of thing. Really, curiosity killed the cat and all this weird stuff. I'm gonna go follow my neighbor because I think he's doing a sin. We've been such in that we basically now we don't know how to relate to each other. We don't know how to discuss with each other. And what that preaching, whatever stuff did, we should all punish ourselves and punish each other for every little thing that we do. A dog poops in your yard, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. Either we say it verbally or just in our thoughts, or even about ourselves. We have some sort of affair and I'm going to hell, I'm going to punish myself for eternity. But that created this deep narcissist, this deep self-important ego. That's what that religious community that we've all been in has done. And that is what creates this person that doesn't know how to disagree, that doesn't know how to discuss things, that doesn't know how to share things, that doesn't know how to ask for what they want, receive what they want, collaborate. It's that inner narcissist. And that inner narcissist is born from that whole being preached at for so long, that it is the I, the I and the you, and we are not to meet. We are not to come together because we are not worthy to come together because of our never-ending sins. We're not worthy to relate to each other. And when you really look at that kind of weight of a lot of these religions, we never did come together, but in a very narcissistic way, where there's a clear barrier, a clear division that is, I am this person, you are that person. Okay? And creating groups or family, a nuclear family, or just cliques that were very narcissistic, that supported basically what we think we are. But the Aquarian age is, we are not here to stay as the frog in the well. I am this. This is me, and that is you. No, that is not. We need to get out of that. We need to expand beyond that so we can see perspective is not, this is mine, and I'm going to surround myself with everybody who thinks like me, who dresses like me, who acts like me, who talks like me, who has the same sort of whatever. No, because all of that does is it supports that preachy religious community of, we don't know how to collaborate, we don't know how to disagree, we don't know how to discuss. And the Aquarian age is about maturing our relationships. We talk about relationship with ourselves, with each other, with the planet. That's the Aquarian age right there. We're looking at our patriarchal society that's very hierarchical. Okay, and it got very stagnant, accumulative. The circulation of energy got very narrow. It's just going very, very narrow. And now Aquarius is, okay, so we know control. So, but now let's move beyond that. We know how to control. We know how to force, like literally, you have a force. Okay, we know the force, and we also know the domination. We know the to be the boss. We know what that is, to be a boss and to dominate everything. We know that. Okay, we've been there, we've done that. Okay, that's the Capricorn in society. You know how to be the boss. You know how to manage. You know how to govern. You know how to take leadership. You know how to dominate. You know how to control. You know force. You know your force. You know other people's force. You know how to get your force and get it over the land, to make land in your force. Get land in your force, your territory. Get it into your force. But now the Aquarian age is very much, okay, we know that, okay? Now let's take that foundation of the land, okay, getting domination, control, getting force over the land. And now let's free up some energy and let's get more creativity. Let's get more consciousness or innovation. Let's get more of that in control over the land. Because it's wonderful to know how to get control over the land, but if you don't have the creativity, if you don't have the consciousness or the innovation, you may be controlling the land, but you don't really know what you're doing. And you don't know how to reorganize yourself, how to shift yourself, how to take on different perspectives, take on different positions in order to be rich over the land. Not just in cumulative, I'm going to hoard everything. No, rich as in energetic. So that's where we are right now. We're kind of dull because we've had these controls over the land. We know how to get the force over the land, our force over the land, but we didn't do it vitally. We did it very aggressively, and that's what caused great agitation with the people, the common folk, and the revolting agitation with the kings and their fear of being overthrown and stabbed in the back. Just agitation. So Aquarian ages, that agitation is alleviated through consciousness, creativity, innovation, because it provides spherical energy, where spherical is implying that you could be many shapes. You know, like we talk about geometry, we talk about shapes within shapes like fractals. Okay, there's a triangle within a triangle, maybe there's another shape within that shape, there's another shape, and there's just all kinds of shapes making of shapes within shapes. And it's very complex, but it represents that richness, wealth, or even establishing yourself, manifesting yourself in a very practical apana, your ground force, contact with this earth can happen in many ways. And that's the consciousness of the Aquarian person. There's this fractals and shapes upon different shapes and within different shapes, and they're all equally successful. So we don't need to all be the shape, the triangle. And that's what we kind of think still right now. We all need to be a triangle because triangles is richness. But we're beginning to realize, no, that's not how it is, because we get too stagnant in that. We get too tight and rigid, and energy can't free up, and just energy gets withheld again. It gets hidden, it gets blocked, it gets discriminated yet again. When it gets too rigid, it always becomes one of those things I've mentioned. But when we are like the tribe in like a Native American community, we are all allowing ourselves to be richness and wealth in our own sort of shape. We're supporting the expansion of the world. Like I said, world implies expansion, and they have to come together. And world is about perspective opening up. It's about discussion. There is no world without discussion. There is no world without perspectives. World would be some sort of flat thing. World or planet is implying that there's discussion, that there's contact, that there's teamship, that there's collaboration, okay? And there's perspective opening, and that all leads to expansion, world, one and the same. So when we think of being in contact with the world, we think of pretty expanded people. We think of international people, even ethnically ambiguous people, or people who know multiple languages or have families in multiple different regions all across this planet. Usually they're pretty expanded, because expansion is in contact with the world. It's in discussion with the world. And when we think of the world, we think of expansion, we think of multitude of shapes, all of this world coming into an understanding that there is richness that is expressed in so many ways, and they all have the same sort of source. Just a matter of fact of making that source vital. And that's the hunt. That's the energetic person, making that source not dead, not decomposed, vital. Vital implying it's can easily restore, it can easily replenish itself. Not through force, but just naturally. And it's there, it's available. And that's what Tesla was wanting and doing. He was on the hunt for how we can be able to harness so much energy, so much energy, but it be natural, but it be vital. It could be easily restored. It can be easily replenished. And is not agitating the land as a lot of energy things do. Agitating the land with greenhouse gases and all this. It's not agitating the people. It's not agitating economies. It's not agitating. No. It is revitalizing. So we never think of energy as revitalizing. We think of it kind of depleting. We're slowly depleting our planet. We're slowly depleting our lives. No. Like, we're losing momentum. By 27, we're just like so spaced out. We don't even... we've some other space land. We're already living on some other Earth. We're in some space land. No. Revitalization is Aquarian age. Revitalization is the hunt. That is the source of energy we're on the hunt for. So I'm going to leave you guys with these thoughts to expand your mind,